In this episode, we enlist the help of villagers to get into modern industrialization, make some steam to power some basic machines in order to make all the required ingredients to make the assembler, unlocking the electric age. Hey guys, welcome back. We are jumping right into modern industrialization. The time has finally come. I have been putting this mod off for a long time, mostly because I haven't really used it before and I didn't really know how to get into it, and I wanted to at least know what I was talking about to make a video on it. So I've been doing a little bit messing around with it, and we're finally going to jump into it. The goal for this episode is going to be just getting set up with modern industrialization and unlocking the electric age, I guess you can call it. So in order to kind of jumpstart things, it's nice because you can skip a few things with modern industrialization in all the mods 10. We are going to skip some things by using villagers. And there's 4 things that I want to basically automate with villagers. And that's going to be motors, analog circuits, steel upgrades, and rubber sheets. The rubber sheets are going to be super nice. So I've got some villagers here growing. And you can speed these guys up with the time wand. Oh my god, they're so loud. Thank god. Okay, so we got those guys. I'm going to make some, or I guess just one of these traders. And we will need 8. I'm going to make 2 of each. So I'll make 2 auto traders that we can do the thing with. And we will need to make the industrialist, which is with the forge hammer. Oh, they are making babies. So I guess just 1, and then we'll use 1 for ourselves. All right, you put the trader down and you stick one of those forge hammers in there. And let's grab some guys. And to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to use my export card and drag some emeralds into number 2. And that's going to be my number 2 slot. So now if I take this out, you can see it fills up with another one. And let's grab, I think we can put a couple acceleration cards. Just 1, I guess. So that would be a little bit faster. All right, so I'm just going to cycle through some trades and see what we get. All right, so this guy gives us motors. That'll be great. So I'll set down. All right, now we can pick that guy up and put him over here, and we will set him as the motor. So every time there is 8 emeralds in there, it's going to get traded for a couple of motors. And this skips a ton of steps because to make the motor, we need rubber sheets, we need wire, we need the polarizer, we need a bunch of stuff. So it is nice to have this. And these guys, you see his trade locked up. They unlock trades twice a day. So this is the first thing I want to set up. So that way they can start making some of these ingredients. And then we won't have to wait for those things to basically happen because it does take some time. So let's go ahead and see what this next guy is going to offer us. Ooh, rubber sheets. Perfect. You, sir. We'll go over here. Rubber sheet it up. So we'll put him up there. Oh, and by the way, you do want to place these the forge hammers for these guys also. Otherwise, they won't reset. All right, now that these guys are all set up, so these guys are making motors, these guys are making rubber sheets, these are analog circuits, and the steel upgrades. We're going to have to access our, what do you call it? Applied energistic system from here. So let me go ahead and turn off, what am I doing? This thing. And we need some super factory manager cables. And I think what I'm going to do is just change the whole floor to the factory managers or the factory cables. So let's take a exchanging gadget and do this. Oops. All right, that should be good for now. And let's facade it so it looks nice with concrete. And you hold control to do all of them. So now it looks just like that, but it's the whole floor is made out of these inventory cables. And I think I'm going to move these guys back 1 block. Or do I do this instead? Motor, rubber sheets. Okay, that's fine. So let's grab a wireless connector, and we're going to need to tap into our applied energistics system from here. And we can put the wireless connector just in the wall here. Hook that guy up, and we will go ahead and put an interface down. Right there. Now we need to put some emeralds. That's where it is. Stack of emeralds. Let's grab our super factory manager. Are you guys surprised I'm using super factory manager? Probably not. So this is what we're going to do. First, I like to turn off that, and we're going to keep 20 emeralds in each of the traders, and then just pick up from the bottom side of the traders and put those stuff in the interface. So that should be all automated for these guys. Okay, now these should all be empty, and you can see it's keeping up with the emeralds. Oops. Okay, so all of those motors, we have 200 already. Rubber sheets, we have 700, 800. So it's already a ton of those things. Okay, with those things set up, we are almost ready to actually jump into modern industrialization. But there are a few resources that we're going to need a lot of, like bronze, invar, tin, aluminum, antimony. And I don't have those set up. So I do want to make seeds for those. Invar will be kind of the one that's a little bit more involved, but we can just make the dust with nickel dust and iron dust. So let's grab some nickel, and I have some from quarrying before. And we're going to make some ore hammers. Let's say 4 stacks of nickel. And what was the other thing? It was iron, right? Nickel and iron? Nickel and iron. Let's grab some iron ingots. Let's smelt these up into ingots, and then we can make our seed. The seed for Invar is the 1x compressed block. So we're going to need 4 of those guys. So while those guys are being made, let's make tin also. We actually have tin seeds. I'm going to put these guys in our simulated versions. So let's grab this for platinum, tin. We have bronze already. We'll need one for Invar. And we already have aluminum seeds. So let's start training these. Tin is already trained. So is copper or platinum. So these guys we can just put in our simulated beds. Bronze can also go. And then just the Invar and the aluminum need to be trained. So we'll let those guys go for a bit. And while that's happening, let's go make our antimony bees, because you can't make seeds for antimony. So we'll use bees for that. And if we take a look, At the B, it is lead and silver B. So I do have a lead B, but I don't think I have silver. Let's see. I do not. And the silver B is mason and iron. And I don't, so our mason B does not have max stats. So I'm going to give it max stats, and we can go ahead and do mason and iron. So we need, let's say, 2 of those guys. So they grew into adults. They're going to get captured now. And then we combine the lead with the silver. And there's 5 antimony bees. I do have some raw antimony. Let's go ahead and smelt that up. Because we will need it for the flowering material. And if we grab those bees and these guys. We can set them up over here. And we should see them producing the combs. Perfect. Sorry if you get dizzy watching that. All right. The antimony is going to get smelted up. We just need to import it into our system. So we need to put it on that guy. And let's go ahead and make, or put all those guys on the cell. That way it doesn't, but it's not what I wanted to do. So antimony will go there. And then we had the bronze essence. And last but not least, aluminum or aluminium. If you are from the other side of the pond. Build those guys up. Perfect. All right, we are getting there, almost ready to get started. Modern industrialization can quickly become overwhelming if you don't set little goals. So let's set a goal to make an assembler, which will get us into the electric age. And to make the assembler, we will need an alloy smelter to make battery alloy, then a compressor to turn it into a sheet, and a bending machine to turn it into a curved plate. And then we will also need a wire mill to make tin wires. Then we will need to power all these machines with steam. These items plus the ones from our villagers will give us everything needed to make an assembler. So first we're going to need some steam. And in order to make steam, we can use this guy, the boiler. So let's make some fire clay, which requires brick dust. And you can get brick dust by just hammering a brick. So let's make like 200 brick. All right, we're going to put the forge hammer down and stick the brick in there along with steel hammers. I did try to Eternal Stella these hammers, but that doesn't work. So we are just going to use normal hammers. And these guys we can combine with clay to get fire clay dust. Which we can go smelt. While we're on the topic of the forge hammer, let's also make a bunch of the copper stuff. So if you put the copper in there with the hammer, you can see these curved plates. I'll make a few stacks of those. And let's also do these copper rings. And the bolts. All right, we were making the boiler. So we need bronze plates. No problem. Let's make 2 stacks of those. I think I'm going to make 4 boilers. All right, and these guys we can just set down on top of our inventory cables. The way these works is they need coal and they need water, and they will produce steam, which all of our steam things will make. But remember, we have those steel upgrades. So we can take these guys up to the steel level right away, and they're going to produce more steam for us. And I'm going to use Super Factory Manager, of course, to do this. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's start a new thing. So it'll keep 2 in each of the boilers. So there are our boilers. And now, okay, so these guys are now producing, well, they're heating up. And as soon as the temperature gets hot enough, you can see steam starts to get produced. And we need a way to store this steam, which will be easy with just doing it in a fluid cell. So let's grab we have a 256 mil fluid cell already, and we can grab steam from Modern Industrialization. You can see there's a whole bunch of different ones. We just want the normal steam. So let's grab that guy. And now we can pick up the steam. Why do I keep adding a D? That is going to annoy me. And we're just going to output that to the interface. So now we have steam building up in our thing. We can also stock that steam inside of our interface over here. Oops. And this will allow us to power any machines that we have for Modern Industrialization. All right, so my goal for this episode is to get into the electricity age in Modern Industrialization, and I want to actually go ahead and make an assembler. So in order to do that, we'll need the machines that was mentioned before. So let's just start making those. How about we start with the compressor? I should make... we didn't make bronze curved plates. Let's do that. All right, couple stacks of fluid pipes will be fine. These copper rotors we got from the traders just by leveling them up, but if not, you can make them pretty easily with those copper things that you get from the hammer, the forge hammer. But we had them already. So that's everything we need. So we have a bronze compressor now. Then we need to make a wire mill. And we'll have to do the steel version of that, which requires these steel machine casings. There's the wire mill. We need a bending machine. That's from Extended Industrialization, yeah. We can turn it into steel. Same thing with this guy. We can turn steel compressor. And then I will also need let's make 2 alloy smelters because they're kind of slow. And this is what requires the invar. All right, easy as pie. So here we have our 2 alloy smelters. Then we're going to make the compressor, the bending machine, and the wire mill. So all of these guys need steam. So let's go ahead and power them with steam. And I'm just going to call those machines steam because they will require steam, and we can put multiple labels on it. So it'll just make it easier rather than having to name them all one by one. All right, so now you can see these guys all have 4,000 millibuckets of steam and are ready to go. In the alloy smelter, so if you take a look at the assembler, we need these basic machine hulls, which is going to be the thing we need to automate for basically all of our electric machines. So we need these redstone batteries that require these alloy plates that happen in the compressor. And the alloy ingots we can make inside of the alloy smelter with antimony and lead. So let's go ahead and put lead ingots here. And also antimony. All right, so we are going to put those in the alloy smelter. We're going to input lead ingot, comma, well, we'll just input from interface, and we will output retain. That should work. Now we just need to label the alloy smelter, which is this guy. Oh, and this guy. All right, now you can see those guys turned on. It's keeping 2 of the lead and the antimony stocked in each one, and these guys are making the battery alloys. And the battery alloys are going to get put back into the interface. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So we're going to input from just Steam, because those are all of our Steam machines, and output to interface, and that will make sure all of the items that those machines make will go into the interface. Now, those battery alloys we need to keep stocked in here again, because we're going to have to use them for other machines. So we need to compress them in the steel compressor and then put them in the bending machine also. So let's do something like this. So we're going to input. Actually, we can just do it over here. Output retain 2. What were these guys called? Battery alloy ingot. And let's go ahead and label the compressor, which is that guy. So now the compressor is making alloy plates. The alloy plates are going back to our system. So let's keep those guys over here. Then we're going to use the alloy plates in the bending machine. Battery alloy plates. I'll just call it bender. And then the other thing we'll also need to do is put tin ingots inside of the... Is it tin ingots or is it tin? It might be tin plates for the wire mill. But let's do this first and put it in the bender. All right, now this guy is making curved plates. And then we also need to make, so all of these things, the tin cables require tin wire, which requires the tin plate. So we could do that in the compressor. So we could add another compressor. Or we can just, these are all going to be temporary. Once we set up our electric machines, then we'll kind of set up more of like a production flow thing. Right now, I'm just trying to get some of the basic ingredients we need to actually make the electric machines, because that's kind of when modern industrialization starts. So this seems to be okay for now. I'll just use tin plates. So what we can do is make a bunch of that at first and use our ore hammer. And same thing. Output retain 2, tin plate 2, wire mill. Like so. Oh, I made platinum. All right, now this guy's making 10 wires. So with just these 4 machines, I have 2 of the alloy smelters just to make more of these battery ingots. But basically with the 4 machines plus steam generation and 1 of these boilers can supply enough steam for all 4 of these machines. So I just have a little bit of excess so we can be building steam up, you know, just so we can have that. But basically we're ready to make an assembler now. So let's take a look at that. We have the analog circuits from our villagers. Let's start with the basic machine hull, which means we need these steel things. And steel is easy. We have the bees for it. It's easy because it's ore dictionaried in this pack. So you don't have to use the modern industrialization steam. Okay, 10 cables. We'll make 54 of those guys. And we need these plates. So I need to stop this guy for now, the bending machine. And we can just come in here to the bender and comment that out. So now we should be building up battery plates. It's going in here. So I need 2 redstone batteries, I think. Perfect. So now we have a basic machine hull. And this unlocks the electric gauge because you can make an assembler, a centrifuge, all these things. But obviously there's some other stuff that needs to be made. So let's go to make more stuff for the assembler. We'll need 2 conveyors, 4 robot arms, which means we need pistons and steel rods. Check it out. We have an assembler now. And because this is from the electric gauge, you can just put a gate on it and it'll work. So you see right now it has no energy, 0 out of 3200. If I put a gate on it, you can see it's fully powered. So now any recipe that this has, we can just feed it power. The same way we've been doing every other one of our power feeding machines. We'll just keep it stocked inside of the interface and then Super Factory Manager will move it. So you can see there's a bunch of recipes in here. A lot of them you can also do, like the batteries we just made, you can also do that in the crafting table. So whatever things I can make in the crafting table, I'm just going to use auto crafting with applied energistics to do that. But there are some recipes that can only be done inside of the assembler. So those ones we'll have to make. But I think this is where I am going to leave it for this episode. Just a quick kickstart into modern industrialization. So we basically worked our way, like did all the skips we could to get enough materials so we can make stuff for the electric gauge. So when we come back into the next episode, we're going to automate all of the items basically needed to make all the electric machines. So we can have those set up as well. I think I'm going to automate all of these things also, like the motors and the rubber sheets. Do we need to? I mean, this is pretty efficient. It's been like, I don't know, 40 minutes. And we have 3,000 rubber sheets. That's really nice. 1,000 motors. Ho, ho, ho. Maybe we won't do that. I don't know. I'll think about it. But I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this episode. I am so excited. We're finally getting into modern industrialization. We are going to very quickly outgrow this room, hopefully. And we'll make all the things. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.